Hello everyone, this is Richard with Richard's Beer Review, and today I have my boy Anthony here from A&M. He's in college. He's junior now, right? And he's here staying with us for the summer, of course. So that's my boy from Texas A&M, but I don't want to brag. Anyway, we're going to talk about beers because this is Richard's Beer Reviews. And the reason I asked him to come here because I wanted to see his angle on a couple of beers. So we're going to try two completely different kinds of beers in the opposite spectrum. As everybody knows, there's two major categories of beers. There's the lagers and there's the ales. And lagers, this is a lot of people have seen this. This is a very good lager. In my opinion, one of the best lagers out there. Very refreshing. This is a Belgian lager. Lagers are from Germany. They're the ones that invented the style. And the reason why we in America drink mostly lagers is because the Germans are the ones that introduced beer brewing into the United States. So if you drink Coors, Budweiser, Miller Lite, Corona, Dos Equis, those are all lagers. And I was saying American beer, so why did I say Corona and Dos Equis? Because Corona, Dos Equis, believe it or not, were American beers that got moved south during Prohibition. The brewers of the United States moved south and created the lager industry in Mexico that we know now as as Corona and Dos Equis. So we're gonna try this beer. I think in college, I imagine you guys mostly drink cheap beer.
Yeah.
And these lagers are the most available, therefore the cheapest beers. So this is a beer, this is a beer that you're probably kind of familiar with the flavor. Now, lagers are meant to be drunk in pints. This is a pint. Because they're supposed to be very cold because they're known for being smooth and refreshing. So you pour it in, and a pint you can feel the temperature in your hand. So it adds to the whole atmosphere of cold beers. Did you know that? This is why you drink it in a pint, because you can feel the cold of the beer in the pint. So I'm gonna take a sip of this. Very good lager. So tell me what you think about it.
Okay. It's like, yeah, it's really good. It's like it's almost like no flavor-ish almost. Like it goes like it's like super easy to drink.
Super easy, super smooth. Okay, so you actually mentioned something very interesting that I'm glad you did. This is non-scripted, so we're just talking as it is. Lagers are fermented cold. And when you ferment something or when you cook something cold, it's hard to get the flavors out of the malt and the yeast. So
it's not bad, it's just...
No, so they're meant to have very little flavor. That's how the way they're brewed. On purpose, they're not to have a lot of flavor.
If I was at like a baseball game.
Exactly, that's what they're meant to be. The lagers are meant to be refreshing with very little flavor. So they're great for a hot day, for a baseball game, and they're also actually very good for when you're eating. Because if you're eating like food like shrimp or steak or barbecue, this has very little flavor, so it's not gonna fight the flavor of the food you're eating. So
that's good.
I'm glad you noticed that. Now, this is the opposite spectrum. This is an ale, but not just an ale, an IPA, which stands for Indian Pale Ale. And an Indian Pale Ale is an ale with a lot of flavor, with a lot of hops. And this one happens to be a double IPA, so that means it's even stronger, more hoppy, more flavored. This is not a beer you drink at the beach or in a baseball game. This beer will have a lot more alcohol content than this. As a matter of fact, if you want to put it in perspective, you will have to drink 4 to 5 of this to get the alcohol content of one of this. This is a specialty beer, and not just an ale, but it's a seasoned beer, and it's a double IPA from a company called Dogfish, and they're in California, and they're known for the Indian Pale Ales. This is called a West Coast IPA, so it's a filter IPA, which means it'll be clear, and it's a bitter IPA. Though it won't taste bitter, because anytime you get over 7% alcohol, the sugars ferment to a level that they actually taste sweet. So where do you drink this beer? This is a beer you drink, you actually sip it. It's almost like a brandy of beers. So we're gonna try it out. This is a great beer to drink with a cigar, or just sip it with your friends. Now, a Pilsner, or a pint, a Pilsner glass or a pint is this shape. You are meant to drink ales, especially double IPAs, in what's called a snifter. A snifter is a glass that the top is narrower than the belly, and that's supposed to concentrate the aroma, because this has so much flavor and aroma to it. And also, you have a stemp, because your body temperature is not to influence the beer. And in many cases, they're not meant to be drunk too cold, because when you're dealing with specialty flavor beers, you don't want to drink it super cold, because what happens when you drink something really, really cold? It numbs your tongue. So it numbs your flavors. So if you give it, you're supposed to take it out of the refrigerator like 10 or 15 minutes before you drink it. And that should be the ultimate temperature. So the color is completely different. It's got this caramel color. The flavor is very different. It's actually kind of sweet. I'll pour some for you on this one. Let me know what you think about that.
Oh yeah, you can smell it a little more. There's a lot more flavor, that's for sure.
A lot more flavor. This one actually feels sweet because there's so much alcohol content to it. This is what craft beers and beer lovers look for. This kind of stuff, this kind of flavor, this kind of unique flavors to it in the taste. So, have you ever drunk anything like this in college?
No, this is like thick and sweet.
It's different.
It's good.
Right, so there's a difference between, there's a huge variety of beers, and they go from lagers to ales. In between, we know that in ales there's red ales, blonde ales, Indian pale ales, there's the porters, and on the lager side, you have the pilsners, you have the box, the double box, and the ice box. If anybody knows where I can get my hands on an ice box, let me know, put it on the comments below, because I definitely want to get my hands on an ice box. There's not many in the United States. I don't know why. As a matter of fact, if you go to YouTube and you look for ice box reviews, they're all by self-made, like home brewers that are brewing that beer. That's supposed to be some special beer. And I want to get my hands on one of those. But on the other spectrum, on flavor of beers, you can't get much better than this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't like down this beer. It's definitely like, you sip it, like you said.
Oh yeah, this is not a beer you down. This is a beer you chit chat. So it's not a good college beer.
Yeah.
And definitely not a pong beer. What's that game with it?
Beer pong.
Beer pong game. Because you're gonna have a bunch of passing out drunk college dudes in no time. Plus, most of them can't afford it because this beer right here in the liquor store, like Total Wines or Specs, if you get lucky and you can find it, it's $10 a bottle. While most ales you can get, a 6-pack for, I don't know, what is a
You get
6-pack?
32 pack for like $20 of like cheap,
32 pack.
like a 30, yeah. It's like,
What the hell sells 30? I never even knew there was 32 packs of
like,
anything.
yeah, it's like a case.
So what's the most popular beer in college?
Either Natty Light or
What?
Natural Light
Natural Light.
or Bud Light, or Coors Light.
Just because they're the cheapest.
Just any super cheap beer, just it's whatever.
So they're buying beer because it's cheap, but it's beer, and they're all lagers. All these beers that he just mentions are lagers. They're soft on taste. You can chug them down, and they're refreshing. So that's the story about lagers. That's why lagers have fit so well in the history of the United States. And in Europe, ales have always been the king. Well, ales come from England, lagers come from Germany. And maybe that's why maybe that's why in World War II, the Germans had the Blitzkrieg. They were fast because they drank lagers. And the British were slow because they were sitting there drinking ales. I don't know, maybe it had something to do. But anyway, this is my little beer review. It was I was trying to get a take on ales and lagers from a college boy and see what he thinks.
Wow.
And good.
It's just a lot of flavor.
Yeah, you're chugging it down.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so, but
We gotta finish this one.
okay. That one's like water compared to this.
Yeah, so okay, so try that one now.
Okay.
Try the Stella now. This is the lager now.
Oh yeah, that's
You don't even realize that you're drinking anything.
yeah.
You drink
That's literally like slightly tasting water,
Right.
carbonated water.
So actually,
It's pretty good though. I like it.
yeah, it is. If I was in the beach, if I was in a ball game, this is what I would want to drink. This is like drinking Gatorade.
I like this more than any of the cheap beers.
That is, I have reviewed a ton of lagers or drunk a ton of lagers, and that by far is my favorite lager. That's an excellent lager. And this was made by the union of two guys. Let me see if you guys can guess. The first guy was called Stella. Can you guess who the second guy was?
Belgium.
Belgium. Artois. Stella Artois. They came together and they created this Belgian beer. And because it's from Germany, of course it's a lager because that's all they brew over there in Germany. So I hope you liked this video, and this is my first beer video with, actually you had a little cameo on a previous video.
Oh yeah.
But this was the first one where you actually were part of it. So maybe he could be part of some more videos to come. Thumbs up if you like it. If you don't, keep it to yourself, sucker.